Hi, welcome to today's session. We are doing session 3 of the Color in Interior Design series. Today we are looking at the power of the neutrals. Thank you for coming this far. My name is Monica Malakwen. I'm an interior design expert and I help convert interior spaces into functional and beautiful places to work and to live in. Welcome to Indulgence Blueprint, your simple interior design lessons to help you become your own interior designer. So let's get started. We have emphasized the use and the power of neutrals, and actually one or two of you requested me to particularly look at the neutrals. So we are going to go a bit into the details of, the neutrals that are available and how we can use them. I'm going to give you examples of colors that I particularly use in most of the interiors that I've done, and I'll tell you why we use these colors and the cases where these particular neutrals may be appropriate. I'll also give you the details of the particular colors as per the COWN color chart. I personally use COWN, and I'll show you the particular colors and even give you the codes so that it can help you, make it easier for you to choose a neutral color in the future. Again, we say that neutrals, when you're doing your color scheme, you need to observe the 60-30-10 rule. Neutrals make the 60%, and therefore this session is very, very important for you. And I hope by the end of it, it's going to be very, very simple for you to actually be able to pick a neutral color, a palette that you can be able to use in your room. So the first neutral color that we are going to be looking at is the brilliant white. Brilliant white, okay? Brilliant white, as the name suggests, is basically pure brilliant white. It's very bright, and it makes the room really bright. Like if you go into a room that has a brilliant white color, most of the time used when you need to increase the size of the space, it forms a very neutral palette where you can be able to bring in any other color into the space without any restrictions. Actually, it reflects a lot of light, so you're able to have a lot of light within the space and makes smaller spaces look big. Like in this example, we have, you can see that the general palette is white everywhere. We have the white walls. Notice the white shelf over here. Even the wall art that is used in this space is basically white. You can see this. It's almost non-existent in the space. You may not even be able to see it, but it is there and it adds a lot of character into the space. The curtain that is used in this space here, I hope you can see the curtain part of it. It's also in white. You can see the carpet here. The carpet is also in white. You can see the trims, or the skirting as we call them. They are also in white. So it makes this room very, very bright. And you can see that the rest of the decor that is used in the space, basically a few, hints of color in terms of these browns. Okay, so if we are looking at the 60-30 rule in this particular space, white becomes our neutral color. It's forming 60%, even more for this particular space. We can see the brown in the vase here, the brown in the basket here, and also the brown that is the frame of this mirror. You're noticing the brown on the frame of the mirror. Yes, that is our 30% color. And as you can notice, just a hint of blue. And you'll also notice in the bedding that is reflected in the mirror, it has a hint of blue. That becomes our 10%. Okay, so for this particular space, we've used brilliant white. It's a very good neutral color, and especially if you have a small space. Secondly, we're going to look at Jane's Gray. Again, the names we are using here are names that are relevant to COWN paints, the ambience color chart. So you can see here, this is the code. This is the code for COWN paints. The color is Jane's Gray, and you can see the color on the wall. You may actually think it is white. Jane's Gray has a very, it's a bit gray, more white than gray actually. But then what Jane's Gray does is it silences the brilliance of the brilliant white in a space. So it still gives you a bright space, it still gives you a airy space, but then it's not brilliant. If when you want to calm the room down a bit, you can use Jane's Gray as a color. And you'll notice that it's not pure white by looking at the rest of the items in the space. Like if you look at the window frame, it's actually in white, and you can see a slight difference between the window frame and the color Jane's Gray. You can also notice on the skirting board that the skirting being white, so Jane's Gray is just a bit off from white. So again, if you want to silence the brilliance of the white, you can use Jane's Gray. The third color we are looking at is the color Hash White. Hash White is, we have the code here, it's AP5/2. When you look at this space, we have still a bright space. It is neutral, but then you can notice that the wall color starts to become a bit warm. It's adding in some color, and it helps to just warm up the space, brighten up the space. If you're in Kenya, you're very familiar with the color that is used in every other space. This is a better, according to me, it's a better and a safer choice. So if you want to maintain, you know, an acceptable color scheme, and especially if you're doing a commercial space, probably it's apartments, probably it's rentals, and you just want to have a color that is acceptable in our market, go for Hash White. Rather than what is called the soft white. Yes, the soft white has a lot of yellow. I think if possible, kindly avoid it. And according to me, Hash White and has proved over and over again to be a better color for that. The next one is my absolute favorite. And especially if you're working on a living room that you want to make cozy. It is a very cozy color actually. So it's called Warm Silver. Warm Silver, yes. So it's, as the color notes, it's actually warm. It's a warm silver. The code, according to Crown Paints, is AP55/1. And we are looking at the space that has warm silver. Coziness galore. And I like these examples particularly because they have white as a trim and also on the doors, so that you can be able to gauge the difference. Most of the time when we show a client warm silver in a color chart, and even as a sample on a wall, it normally looks like it will be a very dark color, but when you paint on the entire space, it creates some elegance, some coziness, some very beautiful space. So I encourage you to try it. And the last one we are going to look at, Windmill White. Windmill White. Windmill White is next to Warm Silver in the color chart. It is a shade darker. We remember we talked about the colors as the colors, the gradient of the colors. So Windmill White is just a shade darker than Warm Silver, and again it goes another level in terms of calming that space and just making it cozy. So why would you use Windmill White and not Warm Silver in a space, for example? And this, I hope, will help us understand when to choose a lighter and a darker color. Number one, if you have a lot of light in a room, you are able to use a darker color. So in this case, you can go for Windmill White. But if the lighting is not very good, but you still want to achieve the coziness that these two colors give, then you can go for Warm Silver, which is a lighter version. So if you have a big space also, with a bigger space, you are able to, if you want to make it cozier, you can use a darker color. If you want to make a smaller space look bigger, you can use the lighter color. So that explains why I have both of them as my favorites, depending on the lighting in the space and on the size of the space. Okay, so I hope that gives us a base of the possible colors that you can be able to choose. You can paint these colors on the entire house, but what I would advise you is we spoke about the warm and the cool colors. In this case, the warm silver and the windmill white being the darker colors and are a bit warmer, you can actually be able to use them in your living room. I would go for ash or for the gray, Jane's gray for the bedrooms, because again, it's a cooler color. It's cool and it's more relaxing. In the next session, we will be looking at color psychology, and we'll be able to explain this further. So we've come to the end of the session. Thank you for staying with me to the end. Kindly like, comment, share, subscribe, and do not forget to hit the notification button so that you're notified when our next session comes up. Thank you.